FEHB is probably one of the best benefits you have as a federal employee, but how do you make sure not only you, but your spouse can maintain this into retirement? If you've ever wondered that, then stay tuned for this FERS Federal Fact Check. Today we have a question that comes in from Nicole, and Nicole is talking about how she's read some of our previous articles, which is great, understanding the rules the federal employee must have to maintain that FEHB, federal employee health benefits in retirement, which quickly to summarize is you got to meet two requirements as the federal employee. Number one, you must be in FEHB for 5 years prior to retirement, and number two, you must retire with the eligibility of an immediate pension. If you meet both of those requirements, then you can keep health insurance into retirement, which is a beautiful thing. But Nicole asks and says she and her husband are federal employees. Her husband's 9 years older and is going to be retiring very soon. So at retirement, they want to shift the health insurance, FEHB, over to him. And it's been under Nicole's name since 2004. But is he eligible for FEHB in retirement? That's a great question. So let's go ahead and look at it in a couple of different ways. The first one is, let's talk about those rules we just talked about. The first one is you must be in FEHB for 5 years prior to retirement. Okay, is he in FEHB? Sure, if you're in a self-plus-one policy and he's a dependent, he's still in FEHB. There's no requirement that you have to be the primary person in it. You just must be in FEHB. So if you're a tandem or a dual federal employee, both spouses are feds, and you're on there as a self-plus-one or a dependent, you still count. So that's excellent. What's the second rule? You must retire with the eligibility of an immediate pension. An immediate pension. So as long as he's retiring with the eligibility of an immediate pension, that could be MRA plus 10 years of service. That could be a MRA in 30 years, age 60 and 20, age 62 and 5. Any of those requirements, if you're eligible for his pension to start right away, then absolutely this can happen. And you can move that health insurance under his name. Couple of pro tips and things you might want to think about, right? Number one is I do not like to use a qualifying life event unless I have to in order to move health insurance. My preference is going to be waiting until an open season or doing the open season before it's needed. So let's just say that your husband, Nicole, wanted to retire in June. You absolutely could. He could retire as long as he meets his requirements. It's a qualifying life event. You could probably move that health insurance under his name. You could do that. What we do is the November before that, so let's say he's going to retire in June of 2023. That means in this coming November open season, we would suggest moving it into the health insurance during open season. Why? Because it's easier, and I like easy. The other thing that I like is I really like that it's done before retirement. It's one less thing that can go wrong. It's one less moving part. You can get it done beforehand. So I think that's a really good idea to think about in advance. But before you do that, let me ask a question. Does it make sense to move the health insurance under his name? Right? Now, there could be a lot of moving parts that I don't know. One, maybe he's eligible to retire and she's going to go out on an early retirement or a deferred pension, not an immediate pension, right? So that health insurance is going to go away. Okay, that can make a ton of sense. But let's think about some reasons that if you're still going to be working, Nicole, why you'd want to keep it in your name. Well, let's talk about the premium. Let's say for your FEHB, HB, sorry about that. It's about $600 a month for the premium, right? Just gonna use nice round numbers. And let's say for fun, in a tax bracket, you are in a 22% marginal tax bracket. Why do taxes matter about health insurance? Because while we're employed, you get to pay that $600 premium with pre-tax dollars. You get a tax deduction for your health insurance premium that you pay. Once we have retired, that tax deduction goes away. You're no longer eligible for it. You pay health insurance with post-tax money in retirement, no tax deduction. So what does that mean? Well, if I'm in a 22% bracket and my premium is $600 a month, that means roughly I'm saving $124, really quick math here, $124 a month in taxes by having this. Okay, well, times that by 12, and now all of a sudden we have what, $1,500-ish, $1,400 and change a year that we're saving in taxes by keeping it under the working spouse spouse's name. This could make a lot of sense. Now, again, if she's going to retire sooner, maybe it doesn't, but I really like to hit the pause button before we do this and say, hey, does it make sense to make that shift under that FEHB to the retired spouse just because they're retiring, or can we do this later? Might be something for you to think about. If you have questions like this and about how your benefits apply to your particular situation, more importantly, how do you put them in the bigger scope of financial planning overall, then jump on our website. Maybe come in and see us at planyourfederalretirement.com. You can sit down with one of our financial advisors that really understand federal benefits and financial planning, and let's help put these pieces together for you. Till next time, happy planning.